Can you take a simple checklist and convert it, repurpose it, change it, grow it into a digital content empire? We're going to find out the answer to that question after this. Everybody's Jeff Herring here, host of the Content Profit Show. Welcome aboard. Whether you're listening live or watching live or on the replay, we're so glad you're here. I'm excited today because we got a special guest and we're going to repurpose her checklist into, there's so much. I'm so excited about this. Now, if you want to get your own, if you're out there wondering, I want you to do two things. I want you to do two things today, okay, while you're watching. One, wonder, how could I change my content into what they're doing here today? And then two, how can I get Jeff to do this with me? Because that link is right down here underneath my name, jeffherring.com/schedule. And if you want to get in before July, do it now. We've got one opening in May, one opening in June, and then we're filling up July. And thanks to y'all for making this just so crazy successful. It's way beyond anything I ever dreamed. Okay, over here to my side here is Dorothy. Is it Erlanger?
Yes.
See, I usually ask that before I go on, but we got talking. You said yes, like most people get it wrong.
True.
What are some of the mispronunciations?
Oh, Erlanger. There's many.
Yeah. Erlanger. All right. Dorothy is her title is your virtual producer. And listen to this slogan, kids. Do what you do best. Let me do the rest. I absolutely love that. That's so good. Welcome to the show, Dorothy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, this is going to be awesome. Tell us, the Reader's Digest version of how you got into this, into virtual producing.
Well, I've been a speaker and trainer and facilitator for many, many years. And as we fell into the pandemic,
Right.
I started just in the background doing some for free producing for other folks. I got really good at it. People started coming to me and asking me to do it for them. And because I understand both what that speaker or trainer is trying to do, as well as what are all the technical things that need to be gotten out of their way, it's something that I do really well and that I really love.
I love it. I love it. And you alluded to now, everybody. I am totally 100% teasing with what I'm about to say. This is make believe, etc. So if you get offended by it, come on. I mean, what really happens when you're offended anyway? Nothing. Okay. Here's my personal theory, my personal conspiracy theory. It was Zoom that started the pandemic.
Could well have been when you stopped.
It was like heaven for them, right? So I know that's silly, but it's fun to play with. All right, let's take a look at what you got here. Oh yeah. Oops, I'm in the wrong screen. That's why. Okay, so let's go over here to your article. See my little trick, people? That's how I know what she calls herself in her slogan. It's over here on this screen. And usually I take it down before I go to the other, but not today. So little bonus tip. All right, so I'm hired to design, manage, and produce online virtual hybrid events so that presenters can shine online and accelerate their business growth. I love that statement. Are you in Medium yet? Medium.com?
I have been reading. I have not been doing any writing there yet.
Okay, we'll get you in there because that's real close to a really good profile statement. Okay, so you've got it divided into, big, bold subheadings: before the meeting, getting started, heart of the meeting, communications. And then you've got under each one so many. I love that. Online is not in a classroom. Plan for what works in virtual. Yeah, and please remember, folks, if you're live, you're live. Anything that you do is going to show to everybody. I've heard some stories and have some stories. Okay, got a key to eat, shine online. I love that phrase, shine online. See, you've got so much here. Back of the house, And then down here, the beginnings of a mini program. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things we're going to build here. Um,
The
I
way
just,
I love to describe it to speakers, and it kind of really tells the story, is if you're a speaker or a trainer, you walk into a room, are you the one that sets up the microphone? Are you the one who sets up the lighting? Are
yeah.
you the one who controls who comes in the door? And by the way, when something goes wrong with the sound, do you stop and fix it? That's in essence what you're trying to do if you're trying to do your own production.
Been there, done that. And I like it this way better. That's for sure. The first time I ever presented to a group of people was in what we called the dungeon at our church. It was downstairs in the basement with no windows, cinder block. Okay. That's bad enough with somebody with mild claustrophobia. I kept the door open. I had to. But I was talking to parents about, raising teenagers. And I was going to use that proverb, raise up a child in the way they should go, right? Which is Proverbs 22:6. Well, I haven't thought about this in forever. In my nervousness, and you'll understand this as a speaker, I looked up and read Psalm 22:6, which says, and I am not making this up, Dorothy, it says, I am a worm, not a man, despised by all the people.
Oops.
Okay, we can only go up from here. All right. So really good checklist here. Now let's work some magic on it. All right, Dorothy's new digital empire. You got your virtual event checklist. And there's probably things that you do that aren't even on that checklist. I mean, somebody at your level, there's things that you just do automatically that nobody would think of.
Part of my job.
It is. And it's because when you're an expert at something, you do things that you don't think are big things. Like we took a group of about 30 high school kids to a Lighthouse family retreat the year before the pandemic, summer of 19, down on the West Coast, Gulf Coast. And Lighthouse is a local organization that works with families living through childhood cancer. Well, I drove because Caleb and I and some friends were staying down there afterwards, and I just followed the bus down. We stopped at a place to eat, and Dorothy, all I did not plan this. It was totally spontaneous because I knew about maybe 10 of the kids already, but the doors were opening, so I just stood down there at the bottom and fist bumped every kid that came by. Didn't think nothing of it. That first night when all the leaders were sharing, some late 20 guy goes, Jeff, when I grow up, I want to be you. And I'm like, excuse me? And everybody's laughing because my jaw is hanging down. Like, what are you talking about? And he said, you had a connection with every kid before we got here. And all I thought was, well, yeah, I know most of them, but I didn't know what he was referring to. Dorothy, I didn't find out till 2 months later from a friend, he was talking about that fist bump, which to me was nothing, but I say that for you and for everybody, the things you think are little things are enormously huge things and make a huge difference for others. That when I do a presentation on teaching small group leaders, that's one of the first things I teach is the power, is fist bump power, that physical connection with somebody. All right. So good to hear that you've been studying up on Medium. Do you have an account yet?
I do.
Okay. All right. We'll find it and we'll work with it because every single one of these bullets is at least an article.
Okay.
Okay. Which will drive traffic back to where you want people to hire you, right? The other thing these are, as we do an article on each, what I want you to realize is you'll be writing your book about this. Okay. And all we'll do is compile the articles and do a few things to them. Okay. Because in the world you're in, the speaking world and the virtual world, as you want to take this. And what was that great line you said? You let it and you finish the rest.
Oh, so far I've been letting this business grow. Now it's time to make it grow.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That is the best thing I've heard all day. Because in your world, and this does not have to be War and Peace or even War and Peace. I'm talking like a 30 to 50 page book. that becomes an incredible business card for you at meetings. Like, how far is it until the national?
That's in the third week in July.
Oh, we can do it.
Okay.
We can get that done, and you'll come away there grinning because you'll have so much business. Oh my goodness. Um, First time I ever went to a live event, all I you know me, I like doing things differently and like to help people do things differently. I wasn't about to hand out business cards. I burned a bunch. How long ago this was? I burned a bunch of CDs and put labels on them from a teleseminar about content marketing and handed those out with my contact information. And I was the only one doing it, and everybody was. What's more likely to be thrown away, a business card or a CD or a thumb drive or something like that, right? Okay, so I mentioned a book. This could be an ebook. This could be a hold in your handbook to take to meetings. I said various because there's so many pieces of what you do. You know, you could do so much with this. And as we come up with different topics, I haven't done this in years, and I need to start doing it again. But several of my Kindle books on Amazon are titled the book on content marketing. And so I go by the name, the book on whatever I'm going to write about, so that when I'm introduced, people can say, now the guy that wrote the book on, because I did. So we'll play with that. Now, you mentioned in the stuff you sent me that part of that was an outline to a mini course, right?
That's correct.
Okay, okay, and so and I kind of work backwards with those
Hmm.
in that you can create a mini course
Hmm.
and then blow it up, make it bigger, right? Or you could go ahead and create a multi-module course, have that all done, and then pull the pieces out for a mini course. Since you've already got an outline, I'm suggesting we do a little bit of both. But what's beautiful here is, the medium traffic's going to drive so much traffic because speaking is a big industry on Medium, and the thing I find is a lot of people will get in an industry, but about 90% of them either stink or don't know how to use Medium. So you don't stink, you're great, and so it'll fix them using Medium thing.
Right.
So there's all kinds of courses, from traffic to the books, all kinds of books, all kinds of courses that you can do, and then we talked about a you teaching other people how to do this, how to be a digital producer and certifying them, and that would be awesome. And so I'm going to put two things here, which saves me from having to make another bubble. um, so certification. Um, and so I would recommend both of those because you and they may be one thing, the virtual event membership that you get certified through, you know,
Right.
and you have like a a, a get started here section, okay,
Right.
starting point or whatever, and then they're certified. I would suggest it at the first level, and then they go through your membership for 6 months, and they're the second level.
Uh,
A year, they're the third level, and then by then they're going to want to stay with you forever because they're out there doing this and you're the queen of the whole thing. Make sense?
It makes sense, and also because you would get, I think the other thing that would make it attractive to the membership is the assurance that I'll keep you up to date on what's the
The-
latest, how to do this.
yes, that is so huge because I look at it and there's three types of trainers online. The people that have never done it, but they went to a workshop, they watched a webinar, they read a book, and now they're going to teach you. Okay. For that level of trainer, I tell people to use what I call my RLH prescription, which is run like hell. put your money away and run. The second kind is somebody that's done it. They're going to teach you, but they're no longer currently doing it. Okay?
Yeah.
You can, that's the majority of them. You can learn some things there, but you're not going to learn what you just said. And the third category is what you're part of. The people that have done it are going to teach you and are doing it so you can bring what the latest is. Because all you got to do is look at websites online and see this, because the ones that look like they were created in 2005, you know, which work for some people, but not for everybody. So you getting a glimpse of the future here?
Yeah, and the thing about this is that, is particularly in this field, if it's not updated, it's worthless. It's
Why
completely.
is that so in your field?
Oh, because the environment is changing so fast, both in terms of what the audience expectations are, and in terms of the technology that's the simpler technology. And I'm always one to take it down to simple, don't complicate things,
Yes.
um, to make it really work for the presenter, without layering on 5 programs and so on and so forth. And it's changing so fast that people will tend to say, "Oh, I'll do a little of this, and I'll do a little of that." And the reality is, focus on what your audience needs and stop complicating things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so simple yet so profound. I asked a buddy of mine recently who's really, really good at systems and procedures.
Mhm.
I said, all right, how do I look at what I've this thing that's grown here and systematize it so I can, know I'm making everything or give it to somebody else to do for me. And she said something so profound. She goes, the next time you're putting stuff together, get out a piece of paper, do what you do, and every time you do something, write it down as a step.
Yeah.
And I said, that's perfect. That's huge. And she wrote me back. She goes, it never ceases to amaze me how people don't go duh when I say this. Because most of us, if I don't think that way, if people don't think the way you think to do this, then it's gold for you, for
Yeah.
them.
And I think in process in all kinds of areas. So, and I can help other people do that without forcing them to do it.
That's like I told you before we got started, you were on the on the verge, and maybe the urge too, the verge of a digital empire with this. All right, as we boy, 20 minutes goes so quick.
Yeah.
As we start to wrap up here, Dorothy, any questions?
I guess my only question is, going all the way back to Medium, what
Yeah,
is the best way to start to understand and research topics and titles that would really grab people?
that's a great question. Um, and if we work together, that's one of the things I'll do for you is just run your Medium program.
Mhm.
But one of the things you can do is on Medium, they call them tags. You and I know them as keywords. Okay.
Right.
And so you do some search in there, and you look at the people that are writing, the articles that they're writing, the publications that focus on this, and then the tags. Okay. And you write around those and include those, because when you publish a Medium article, um, you get to choose 5 tags. So that'll get you started. But just like
Great.
you, there's a wealth of underneath there that I do for people about a deeper marketing research, because
Great.
very, very few people know how to use Medium right. And it's just, I call it the internet's best kept secret because of what it can do when used right. So, Dorothy, thank you for being such a great guest.
Thank you for your ideas and the path, so to speak.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I hope we get to walk it together. So, folks, if you want to someday be sitting in Dorothy's seat, not in her home or office or wherever she is, but in the content profit seat, right below my name is how you can schedule. And again, if you're listening to this live, we've got an opening in May and an opening in June, and then we're into July. And I'm gone somewhere between a fourth to a half of July. So, And if you're listening to this on the replay, you really need to get over there. All right. And as always, folks, remember, watch these things with an eye to how you can do it and for how you can have me do it for you. And until we get together again, I want you to, as always, go use this stuff, because as you've seen it, and as you will see from Dorothy, it flat out works.